Alright, hey nerds, how we doing? So, the reason you've stopped past today is because recently I was fortunate enough to go away with the fam to Singapore, and you know if I'm going international I'm going to find the time to do a little bit of toy hunting. So, I hadn't been to Singapore before, wasn't 100% sure what to expect, but I know from experience, anytime you go traveling in Asia, you're going to have a pretty good toy hunting experience. I've been to Hong Kong and I've been to Bangkok, and at both locations I've had some amazing finds. Heaps of vintage molds, heaps of new stuff. Singapore was a little bit different. Whilst there was some vintage, even in the smaller mall settings with little individual shops, it was a big focus on new stuff. But you know I didn't come away empty-handed, so let's take a look, shall we? So I started out by trying to hit up all the little one-off shops, because in my past toy hunting experience overseas, if you can find someone's little passion store that they run outside of regular work hours, that's where you're going to find the weirdest and the coolest stuff. And like I said, there was a lot of them that were just selling like real new stuff, like new G.I. Joe, new Motu, all that kind of stuff. A couple of vintage, but you know, when it comes to Transformers, there's a lot that I already have. There was a real conspicuous lack of any sort of G1, G2 Beast Warsy stuff. It kind of picked up Movieverse era, so like, you know, 2000s onward, which is still 25 years worth of stuff, but I've got 25 years worth of stuff because I'm that old. What I found really interesting was clearly all of these stores, they have their like location, but talking to the bros who ran them, most of them have the little storefront for pickups and stuff, but most of their business comes from online sales. So you'd go inside to these tiny shop spaces and there'd be cabinets full of stuff, but you couldn't actually get to most of the cabinets because they had boxes and boxes and boxes of new stock waiting to be unpacked, like floor to ceiling in front of them. So there may well have been some tasty tidbits that I didn't even get to lay eyes on, but what can you do? I'm not, you know, rearranging the whole store. That's their thing. You know, what am I meant to do with that? It's not my business. I'll look where I can look and I'll buy what I can buy, and that's what I did. So from that first day's worth of hunting, I hit, I think, 3 or 4 of the sort of smaller stores, and I did come away with some interesting pieces. From Transformers Go, I managed to pick up one of the Predacons. That was pretty cool. Real cheap, on sale, pretty busted card back, but that's how it goes. That's how you get at them deals. If it falls off, maybe I have to open it. I also picked up a couple of the Turtles of Grayskull figures. I got Ram Man and I got Shredder, because I haven't seen those at Australian retail at all, and even a lot of Australian online retailers aren't stocking them. So postage on those guys is almost as much as the figure itself. So when I saw the chance, I took the chance. The power is mine. Then while I was there too, I also got DevCon, which is a figure I'd kind of given up on getting because he was, I don't know, short packed or wasn't part of the boxes when they came to Australian retail, and then so his online price soared. But he was a little bit cheaper than regular retail because he's a little bit beat, but that's cool because I'm going to open him. What really surprised me in one of those stores, the guy who owned it was saying that every now and then they dig deep into the warehouse, and if they find anything old and interesting, they dust it off Indiana Jones style and bring it in and see how it goes. And it went well. I got Medieval Spawn, the big one. I hadn't actually seen this in real life before. Price was good. I love that old McFarlane stuff, so I had to get it. Very cool. The box was a bit damaged, and inside of it, some of the glue had, you know, gone brittle and these bits had fallen off. And then in transit, the box got even more damaged. But all that means is it's a great excuse to actually open him. And that's what I'm gonna do. Another great thing about traveling and toy hunting around Asia is Toys R Us. As we all know, in the Western world, Toys R Us is now largely defunct, but not in the East. Or the North, from Australia, whatever. You know what I'm saying. So I hit up 2 different Toys R Us. The first one was a smaller one. That was a little bit underwhelming. It was big and they had a lot of stock, but it was a lot of like, you know, Transformers 1, a bit of Rise of the Beast, nothing that super surprised me. I had been hoping to find some of the upcoming waves because Singapore's release date seemed to be slightly ahead of Australia and America and Europe for the most part. The only thing that I did walk out of that first Toys R Us with is Earthspark Jawbreaker, because I am physically incapable of walking past a Dinobot. The second Toys R Us I hit up, that was much more in line with what I was expecting from an Asian Toys R Us. It was big, it had those cool diorama cases, big Optimus Prime statue, it had some art toys and other things. And as much as I had some great product, it was a lot of stuff I'd recently picked up already, but I did leave with a fat stack of blockies because I haven't seen those at Australian retail yet. They might pop up soon, but I got excited. I might have gotten a little bit carried away. I got a lot of blockies. There's a lot of build time in my future. Lastly, I'm going to finish with the highlight of the trip in terms of toys. Other stuff happened, but you're here for the toys. There's an online retailer that I get most of my stuff from called the Falcons Hanger that's based out of Singapore. So I knew when I was going to have to hit up the shop and check it out. I'd actually had some orders waiting to ship and I thought, maybe I'll go pick them up in person. Because how often do you get to do that internationally? And I was not disappointed. The store was awesome, but more than that, the people in the store. So I get there, I see if my order is potentially there and if I can get it. One of the lads goes out the back to check, and then all of a sudden, all these bros come out. I'm like, hey, what's this? But it was fantastic. They recognized my name from the order. They'd seen some of my videos. The guy who packs them, the guy who does the orders, they all came out to say hello. We chatted about, Transformers for a little while, collecting in general. Super nice guys. And then, incredibly, super generously, they started giving me some freebies to go with my order as well. So they gave me like some collector coins, they gave me like this deformed Optimus, they gave me some awesome like document wallets, like just each of them came out and they just kept giving me more and more. And I was blown away. I've not had a retail experience like that ever, I don't think. And it was just so cool, the shared appreciation of the fandom and of, I don't know, customer loyalty, I guess. Whatever you want to call it, it not only made my day to pick up some new bots and some things, but like that connection was really cool. I really enjoyed it. Big ups to the Falcon Hanger. Shout out. I'll tag you below. If you're not aware of them, if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, amazing place to pick up some toys and some amazing dudes working in there. It was awesome. So what I had actually gone in to get was Galaxy Shuttle and Ramjet. Awesome, love them. While I was there, they were having a sale as well, so I picked up that 2-pack of Javelin and Cascade because I'd been loosely interested in it. Javelin looks awesome, Cascade, who needs that mold? Can we be done with that mold, please? But that was on sale, so that made it worth it. They also had a little bit of a retailer incentive thing going and hooked me up with a couple of packets of those, like, anniversary trading cards. And then they gave me all those freebies. Wonderful day. Fantastic retail experience. Cannot recommend highly enough. If you're in Singapore, go and hit up the Falcons Hanger.
Yeah. Woohoo!
That was that. I spent 5 days in Singapore, had 3 different, outings to try and get some collectibles. Good times, had it all. Got to see some cool stuff regardless of how much I may have actually picked up. Really happy with what I did come away with. It's always, I find, really fun to see how people engage with your hobbies internationally. You know what I mean? It's like any country I'm in, I always try and go to McDonald's. Not because I particularly love McDonald's, but it's so fun to see the different spins that get put on something that's so familiar in a different context. So what do you think? Do you like what I picked up? Did you see anything in those videos that I really should have gotten that maybe I missed? That's happened to me before. In the edit, have a look and be like, oh, I want to know who's been to Singapore before? Who's hunted before? Are you in Singapore? Hit me up. Let's chat it out. I love this stuff. So until the next one, let's get nerdy with it. Catch.